Easter creates the space that's needed for God to fill you and me with the same life that filled Jesus. Easter creates the space that God needs to fill us with the same life that we see Jesus was filled with. In the scriptures, it says this in 1 Peter, referring to that. It says, "Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. According to his great mercy, he has caused us to be born again to a living hope." How? Through the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead, through the Easter story. Now, what does that mean? How does that work? Well, right before all of this happens, right before the Easter story takes off, Jesus prays this really interesting prayer. And here's what he prays. He says, "God, I'm praying that you'll take everyone who believes in me and follows me, every single one of them, and you'll put them in me and you'll put me in them, so that everything that happens from this moment on happens to both of us." That's fascinating. Jesus, he's actually praying that if you follow him, that you're going to be in him for the Easter story, that you're going to be in his experience for all those things that happen. And then he winds up, the Easter story progresses. So he gets betrayed, he gets abused, he gets mocked. What's that all about? You see, in that, Jesus is uniting himself with the brokenness that's in our lives. Why is Jesus betrayed? Because you and I have been betrayed. Why is he accused? Because you and I have been accused. Why is he mocked? Why is he ridiculed? Because that's been our experience. Why is he abused? Because we've been abused. Why is he whipped? Why is he beaten? Why is he disfigured? Because you and I have actually been disfigured as we've lived below the level of what God has designed our lives for. In that whole thing, he's actually entering into our state. But then, he not only enters into our brokenness, indeed the brokenness of the world, he no sooner does that than he goes and he hangs on a cross. And in that, he's taking the brokenness of the world and he's nailing it to a tree and killing it. The scriptures put it this way in one of the other verses. Paul, the apostle, writes this. He says, "I have been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me." So it's incredible. God takes all the brokenness in the world into himself and then he kills it. He kills it. He's like, "I don't want your life to be broken, so here's what we're going to do. Give me all your brokenness and then I'm going to kill it." And that means is when we look at the Easter story, we don't see Jesus hanging on a cross and say, "Oh, that's cool. That was some event that happened 2,000 years ago. Whatever. I guess there'll be a payoff in the afterlife." We look at that event and we say, "I hung on that cross. I got buried in that tomb. And I got resurrected to new life."